The InWin 101 case wasn't something that I was going to make a video for, but because of an upcoming collaboration with some other YouTubers, I figured I might as well make a video on it before I do things to it. Let's get into it. Hey, welcome to Zach's Tech Turf. Today we're going to be taking a look at the InWin 101 ATX mid-tower size case that usually goes on sale for 50 bucks. And if you want to see more PC case reviews or PC building videos, then hit that subscribe button down below and also that notification bell. That way you never miss an episode. But yeah, let's check this case out. The InWin 101 is an ATX mid-tower size gaming PC case that has an MSRP of $70, but with its frequent sales down to $50, it kind of squeezed itself into a new price bracket. I'll be taking a look at this case from a perspective of spending $50 because that's about what I paid for it. This particular 101 is the all black version, which is super stealthy, and it's rocking a red LED InWin panel up at the front, which also hides the power button. This panel can only be red or off if you don't plug it in, and this is definitely a limiting factor if you wanted to go with a color scheme other than red and black. There is also a white and pink and white and blue version available as well. The top of the case is rocking a pretty minimal I/O setup with just two USB 3.0 ports and a headphone and microphone jack. The back panel has a honeycomb shaped ventilation area because you can install a 240mm radiator right there as an intake. Opposite of that is a tinted tempered glass side panel, and other than that, the rest of the outside of the case is super clean. You can open up that side glass panel with some super easy to use knobs that just pop out. You don't even have to unscrew them. And now we're into the meat and potatoes of this case. Up top is a super clean power supply shroud to hide your PSU and rat's nest of cables, and beside that are two 3.5-inch HDD trays, which are pretty simple to use and open up. Speaking of hard drives, there's also two slots on the back for two 2.5-inch SSDs, which I definitely appreciate. Going back to the front, the InWin 101 comes with a spot to mount a 240mm radiator. Like I said, there are no spot for intake fans at the front, but the problem with this radiator is that it could cause clearance issues. InWin's website does show a perfect picture for determining your clearances for the GPU and CPU heatsink, so just make sure that your parts will fit before buying this case, and especially if you do want to install a radiator. If you don't install a radiator like I did, then your only possible cooling solution is to have those bottom fans be intake fans and then have that back fan be an exhaust fan. This isn't that big of a deal, especially if you have a top-down cooler like the stock AMD Ryzen CPU coolers, but it's just not an ideal setup because you can't have the standard front to back airflow setup. By having the intake fans at the bottom, your GPU should remain pretty cool, which is great, and there is a dust cover to keep it dust free, but if you were to install a front to back CPU cooler like a Hyper 212 Evo, your case cooling could get a little out of whack. It's pretty important to mention that this case does not come with any fans for you to use. Moving on, the InWin 101 comes with 4 motherboard standoffs in the micro ATX position, but it does come with extra ones for a full ATX motherboard setup. Speaking of which, the parts and accessories that this case comes with feels super premium. You get a Ziploc bag full of individually bagged parts, the manual is in color and it feels like you just bought a $300 case, and there's also a GPU support bracket, which is awesome. The GPU support bracket is perfect because it's black and you won't really notice it, and it's actually super useful for those really heavy GPUs. Not like this GTX 1050 Ti. Moving back to the standoffs and motherboard options though, keep in mind that you will be covering up the cable management holes if you're using a full ATX board like I am, so you'll have to route and hide your cables behind those intake fans for your build to look nice. I wouldn't recommend looping your cables behind the motherboard and then down and around, because if the insulation on those cables strips, then that could cause a short on your motherboard and could fry the whole thing. And finally, wrapping up the inside features of this case, there is around 3/4 of an inch for clearance in the back. Cable management was pretty easy to work with, especially with that power supply shroud to hide some of the cables. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how this case looks with the build finally complete. It's super clean and it was really easy to work with. I would personally say that this case is worth it at its normal price of $70, but since this case has been out for almost a year, I would definitely wait to scoop it up on a nice sale down to $50. Paying $50 for a case that's this easy to work in and looks this clean is a no-brainer. Well, that wraps up my review of the InWin 101 case. The next time you guys see this case on the channel, it's going to be in a collaboration video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please drop a like down below to help support my channel, and as always, thank you for watching, and please subscribe for more Zach's Tech Turf videos.